Just as El Paso was beginning to settle down from its Wild Wild West era, the development was beginning to take shape. El Paso was significant not just for its geological location, but the fact that all railroads merged here. There was actually 5 different railroad stations, Topeka, it was Santa Fe, there was Texas, Attican was another one. And so we had all kinds of locations for the railroads, and this caused a lot of confusion. So it took 7 railroad companies. In fact, there were 6 American railroad companies and the Mexican National Railroad Association or Railroad Company to pitch in to be able to build the Union Depot. Now, this happened in around 1889. It took about a year to get steam, and this is important for you to know. If you ever want a big project to take off, you gotta hire a marketing agency, like yours truly. They hired a marketing agency. 2 years later, the Terminal Association took over for the marketing, and it started construction in 1905. From 1905 to 1906, it was completed in 1906, and the style, it's a neoclassical style. The designer was actually brought down from Chicago. So what you see here is actually the work of the same person that did many of the downtown Chicago buildings and that did the Washington, D.C. Union. His name, by the way, was Daniel Burnham. And this is important because it made it significant. It made something that was very much his style, but unique to our area. On the top, like right around here, where you see the arched windows, those are Diocletian windows, or called terminal windows. They provide not just light, but also heat. It's a 3-story building. Now, I don't know this to be true, but I've heard that Pancho Villa used to climb up there and look over to Mexico whenever Juarez was being raided. This is supposed to be happening at the same time that General Pershing was out looking for him because of the raid of New Mexico. The reason I say I don't know if this is true is because I had heard that once he raided New Mexico, he never came back. The Italian marble was brought in by the El Paso mayor, Ray Salazar, in the 1980s, 1982. This is after about a decade of the Union actually being abandoned, and it got registered in the 70s, 72, I believe, into the Register of Historic Buildings. There, the city purchased it and revamped it about a decade later. It was always a focal point to the city, and in 1958, Elvis Presley was actually here. It was redone at the time. It had a white facade, and the steeple had a bit of a casing on it. So that's the Union Depot that Elvis Presley got to see. Again, it was redone in the 80s to look the way it looks now, back to its original state. It's important to know that when it was redone in 1982, the Freemasons laid the foundation stone and rededicated the building. El Paso's Union Depot was constructed in red brick and designed primarily in the neoclassical style, with a large porch, grouped pillars, arched openings, and accentuating balance and symmetry, with classical elements like pillars, points, balustrades, and elaborate cornices, as well as a 6-story bell tower topped with a tall spire reminiscent of older Victorian rail depots. The new Union Depot was one of Burnham's trademarks. He was Chicago's city planner at the time, which adds another architectural link between the two windy cities. The construction cost a total of $260,000 to finish and welcomed over 10,000 people in its opening night of February 1906. An interesting note is that it was America's first international rail station, with Mexico Central trains crossing the Rio Grande from Ciudad Juarez and uniting all rail lines in one central structure. It witnessed construction of numerous hotels, banks, and businesses, which were benefiting from the proximity of this transportation hub.